You are listening to Embracing the Unknown, Book 7 of Iron Rule Collection, written by Akumah and voiceover by Sara. Akumah Audiobooks. Chapter 6, The Entity Awakens. The deeper Jackson and Mara ventured into the woods, the more the atmosphere changed. The vibrant colors of the forest faded into a muted palette of greens and browns, the sounds of the outside world diminishing until only the rustle of leaves and the distant call of birds remained. With each step, they felt the weight of the stories they had read pressing down on them like a heavy shroud. "This place feels different," Mara said, her voice low as she surveyed their surroundings. "It's as if the air is thick with history, but not all of it is good."
"Yeah,"
Jackson replied, glancing at the twisting branches overhead that seemed to form ominous shapes. "It's like we're crossing into another realm. The spirit warned us about the shadows of the past. We need to be careful." As they pressed on, following the whispers that seemed to guide them deeper into the heart of the forest, an unsettling feeling settled over Jackson. The energy around them was palpable, crackling in the air like electricity. He could feel the forest watching, assessing their every move. "Do you think we're close to the glade?" Mara asked, her brow furrowed in concentration. "According to the book, it should be just beyond that ridge," Jackson pointed ahead, where a slight rise in the ground broke the monotony of the forest floor. "We should be able to see it from there." They climbed the ridge, and when they reached the top, Jackson's breath caught in his throat. Before them lay a vast clearing, bathed in ethereal light that streamed through the trees. At the center was a small, circular pool, its surface shimmering like liquid glass, surrounded by stones that seemed to pulsate with energy. "It's beautiful," Mara breathed, stepping forward. "But it feels alive." Jackson nodded, feeling the weight of significance in the air. "This must be the glade the spirit spoke of." They moved closer, the whispers crescendoed, swirling around them like a tempest. The pool appeared to ripple in response to their presence, casting reflections that seemed to shift and twist, revealing fleeting images of people from long ago, figures that danced and laughed, only to fade back into the depths of the water. "What are they?" Mara asked, captivated by the spectral forms. "Souls of those who once roamed this forest, perhaps," Jackson speculated, his eyes wide with awe. "They seem to be trapped here, bound to the memories of the past." Mara stepped closer to the edge of the pool, entranced. "What if they have stories to tell? Maybe they could guide us to Eli." Jackson hesitated, sensing the danger that lay in seeking too much from the unknown. "We should be careful. The spirit warned us about the shadows." But before he could voice his concern, the pool began to bubble and churn, sending ripples across its surface. The whispers grew louder, transforming into a cacophony of voices, each vying for attention. Jackson and Mara exchanged startled glances, realizing they had unwittingly crossed into a realm that demanded their focus. Suddenly, from the depths of the water, a figure emerged, a swirling mass of shadows and light. It coalesced into a form, taking shape before their eyes. A tall, ethereal being with flowing hair made of shimmering tendrils stepped forward, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. "Who dares summon the echoes of the past?" it boomed, the voice reverberating through the glade, sending a thrill of fear through Jackson's bones. The entity radiated a powerful aura, one that was both majestic and terrifying. We are seekers of truth," Jackson stammered, stepping forward despite the instinct to flee. "We come to find Eli West. We need to understand what happened to him." The entity's eyes narrowed, and the shadows around it writhed as if in response to Jackson's plea. Eli sought knowledge, but he did not respect the boundaries of this realm. He ventured too far into the past, and now he is lost among the echoes. "Lost?" Mara echoed, her voice a mixture of fear and determination. "How can we find him?" "We're willing to do whatever it takes." The entity regarded them with an intensity that made Jackson's heart race. "To find Eli, you must confront the shadows he encountered. The past is not merely a memory, it is a living force that shapes the present. Are you prepared to face what lies within?" "What do you mean?" Jackson asked, a sense of dread washing over him. "What kind of shadows?" Within the glade lies the essence of memories, both joyous and tragic. You must enter the pool and embrace the shadows that call to you, the entity instructed, its voice echoing like thunder. Only then can you navigate the paths that bind Eli to this realm. Enter the pool? Mara whispered, her face pale. What if we don't come back? The choice is yours, the entity said, its form flickering like a flame. But know this, the past cannot be ignored. It must be faced. Those who choose to look away will remain forever trapped in its grasp. Jackson felt a chill run down his spine. The gravity of the situation weighed heavily on him, but deep within, a flicker of resolve ignited. We can't leave Eli behind, he said firmly, looking at Mara. We owe it to him to try. Mara took a deep breath, her eyes steady. We'll do it together. Whatever we find, we'll face it side by side. With their minds made up, they approached the shimmering pool. The surface reflected their determined faces, but beneath the water, shadows danced, pulling at the edges of their consciousness. Jackson took Mara's hand, feeling the warmth of her grip steadying him as they stepped into the water together. As they sank beneath the surface, the world around them shifted dramatically. The cool water enveloped them like a cocoon, and the glade above faded away into darkness. They found themselves in a swirling void, suspended between memories and dreams. Colors and shapes collided, forming a chaotic tapestry of the past that tugged at their senses. Suddenly, they were thrust into a memory, a scene materialized around them, vivid and raw. They stood in a lush forest clearing, sunlight filtering through the leaves, creating a mosaic of light and shadow. In the center stood Eli, looking younger and more vibrant than they had ever seen him. He was speaking animatedly to a group of people, laughter echoing around them. Look at him, Jackson whispered, heart aching at the sight of his friend. He seems so happy. Mara nodded, her expression a mix of longing and sadness. But this isn't the Eli we know. We need to see what happens next. As they observed, the laughter faded, replaced by a sense of unease. The air grew heavy, and Jackson felt a shift in the atmosphere. The joyous figures began to dissolve, their laughter turning to murmurs, whispers swirling like a dark fog around Eli. Eli! Jackson called out, but his voice was swallowed by the shadows. Eli's expression changed, confusion washing over his features. He looked around, searching for something, someone, before the shadows began to creep closer, wrapping around him like tendrils. Jackson felt an overwhelming sense of helplessness. Mara, we have to help him, he urged, but they were bound to the memory, unable to intervene. The shadows thickened, and Jackson felt a sharp pang in his chest as he watched Eli struggle against their grasp. I didn't mean to disturb you. Eli pleaded, his voice shaking. I just wanted to understand. Please, let me go. Suddenly, the memory fractured, splintering into darkness as they were thrust into another scene. This time, they were in a cavern, the walls glistening with moisture. Eli stood at the edge of a precipice, peering into an abyss that seemed to stretch on forever. No! Jackson shouted, feeling panic rising within him. This is where he fell into darkness. The shadows loomed around Eli, whispering in voices that twisted and turned like the very essence of fear. You seek knowledge, but knowledge comes with a price, they hissed. Are you willing to pay? Eli looked torn, the weight of their words pressing down on him. I need to know, he cried out, desperation lacing his voice. But before he could respond, the shadows lunged, enveloping him in darkness. Jackson and Mara screamed in unison, feeling the pull of the abyss that threatened to swallow Eli whole. Suddenly, they were back in the void, gasping for breath as their surroundings shifted again. The chaos faded, and they found themselves in a desolate landscape, a graveyard of memories, tombstones etched with the names of those lost to time. Each stone bore the weight of unfulfilled dreams and forgotten stories. This place, Jackson murmured, recognizing the weight of sorrow in the air. These are the souls trapped in the forest. Mara knelt beside a grave, her fingers tracing the name etched into the stone. Eli's here, she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. He's trapped with them. A surge of determination flooded through Jackson. We have to bring him back. We need to confront the shadows that hold him. Together, they stepped deeper into the graveyard, calling out for Eli. We're here for you. Jackson shouted, his voice echoing against the tombstones. We won't leave you behind. But the graveyard remained silent, the air thick with despair. The names on the stones whispered to Jackson and Mara, each name a reminder of lives cut short, of stories left unfinished. They felt the weight of the memories pressing down on them, a palpable sorrow that threatened to drown them in grief. Suddenly, a familiar voice pierced through the silence. Jackson? Mara? The voice was faint at first, but it grew stronger, filled with a mix of hope and fear. Eli! Jackson exclaimed, spinning around to find the source. There, at the far end of the graveyard, Eli stood among the tombstones, looking disheveled and haunted. His eyes were wide, shimmering with a mixture of recognition and disbelief. Is it really you? Eli called, stepping forward, his voice trembling. How did you find me? We followed you, Mara replied, tears welling in her eyes. We had to come. We couldn't leave you behind. Eli's expression shifted from hope to despair as he glanced around at the graveyard. You shouldn't have come here, he warned, his voice heavy with regret. This place is dangerous. The shadows, they don't want me to leave. They want me to stay. Jackson stepped closer, determination surging within him. We're not leaving you here, Eli. We'll face the shadows together. Just tell us what to do. Eli shook his head, anguish etched across his features. I don't know if we can fight them. They're stronger than you think. I thought I could handle it, but I was wrong. I was foolish to seek out the truth without understanding the consequences. Everyone makes mistakes, Eli, Mara said gently, her voice filled with compassion. But we're here now. We can help you confront whatever is holding you back. Together, we're stronger. The shadows surrounding them shifted ominously, their whispers rising to a crescendo, weaving through the air like a dark melody. Jackson felt a shiver run down his spine as he sensed the malevolence that seeped from the very ground. What do we need to do? He pressed, refusing to back down. You have to face your fears, Eli said, his voice steadying as he locked eyes with Jackson. You need to embrace the memories that haunt you. Only then can we find a way to break free. What kind of memories? Jackson asked, his heart racing. The memories of what happened to me, Eli replied, his expression darkening. I ventured too far, and now I'm trapped between worlds. The shadows feed off my regrets, my desires for knowledge. They'll do the same to you if you let them. Jackson took a deep breath, the weight of Eli's words settling in. We can't let fear control us. We have to confront whatever lies ahead, for your sake and ours. Mara nodded, her expression resolute. Let's face them together. We won't let the shadows take us. As they stood united, the ground beneath them trembled, and the shadows began to coalesce into a dark figure. It emerged from the depths of the graveyard, a monstrous entity formed from swirling darkness and flickering embers. Its eyes glowed with a malicious hunger, and a chilling laugh echoed through the air, sending waves of dread coursing through Jackson's body. Foolish mortals, the entity sneered, its voice a low growl. You think you can confront me? You are nothing but echoes in my domain. Jackson clenched his fists, feeling the weight of determination surge within him. We're not afraid of you. We're here to reclaim what you've taken from Eli. The entity's laughter rang out again, resonating through the graveyard. Reclaim? You seek to fight shadows with light? You will only find despair. With a fierce shout, Jackson stepped forward, drawing on every ounce of courage he possessed. We won't let you win. We're here for Eli, and we'll do whatever it takes to bring him back. Very well, the entity hissed, its form shifting as it surged forward, dark tendrils reaching out toward them. Let us see what you are truly made of. The shadows lunged, wrapping around Jackson and Mara like icy chains, trying to pull them into the darkness. Jackson fought against their grip, recalling the strength of his bond with Mara and Eli. "We can do this," he shouted, his voice echoing against the tombstones. "We are not alone." The shadows writhed and hissed, their grip loosening as Jackson focused on his determination to save Eli. Mara joined him, her energy resonating with his, and together they pushed back against the encroaching darkness. "Eli!" Jackson called, reaching out to his friend. "You need to fight. Remember who you are. You have the strength to break free." Eli hesitated for a moment, but then he nodded, a fire igniting in his eyes. "I'm not going to let this darkness take me. I will confront my past." As the shadows lunged again, Eli stepped forward, channeling his memories, the laughter of friends, the warmth of love, the light that had once filled his heart. The darkness hesitated, recoiling as if stung by the warmth of Eli's memories. "Together," Mara urged, her voice filled with resolve. "Let's show them the power of our bond." With their combined strength, they pushed back against the shadows. The darkness shrieked, twisting and writhing as it tried to maintain its hold. Jackson felt the energy of their friendship surge around them, illuminating the shadows with brilliant light. "Embrace your memories, Eli," Jackson shouted, feeling the vibrations of hope and courage resonate through the air. "They are your strength." Eli closed his eyes, allowing the warmth of his memories to envelop him. The laughter of the past grew louder, pushing back against the oppressive darkness that had ensnared him for so long. With a fierce cry, he stepped forward, breaking through the chains that bound him. The entity let out a roar of fury, its form destabilizing as the light expanded, driving the shadows back. "No! You cannot escape," it bellowed, but its voice trembled with uncertainty. "Yes, we can," Jackson shouted, his heart pounding in his chest. "Together, we are stronger than you." As they united their memories and strengths, the light intensified, enveloping the entity in a radiant glow. The shadows began to dissipate, the whispers transforming into cries of anguish as they faded into nothingness. With one final surge of energy, the light burst forth, flooding the graveyard and banishing the darkness. The entity let out a final wail before disintegrating into a flurry of shadows, scattering into the void from which it came. Breathing heavily, Jackson, Mara, and Eli stood together in the now illuminated glade, the oppressive weight of despair lifted. The tombstones around them shimmered, their names glowing softly as if finally at peace. "I can't believe we did it," Mara breathed, her eyes wide with astonishment. Eli looked at them, tears of gratitude filling his eyes. "I thought I was lost forever. Thank you for not giving up on me." Jackson clapped Eli on the shoulder, relief washing over him. "You're not lost anymore. We faced the shadows together, and we brought you back." The light of the glade shimmered around them, the air filled with a sense of tranquility. As the echoes of the past settled, the forest seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. "Now we must leave this place," Eli said, his expression turning serious. "The shadows may be gone, but the forest still holds many secrets. We need to ensure that no one else falls victim to its grasp." "Agreed," Mara said, determination flooding her voice. "We need to share what we've learned and protect others from the same fate." As they turned to leave the glade, Jackson glanced back at the shimmering pool, a sense of closure washing over him. The memories of the past had shaped them, but they were no longer bound by the shadows. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger. Together, they walked away from the glade, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The bond they had forged was unbreakable, a testament to the power of friendship and the strength found in unity. As they ventured back through the woods, the sun broke through the trees, casting a warm glow over the path ahead. Jackson felt a sense of hope rising within him. The journey was far from over, but they had taken a crucial step toward uncovering the truth and protecting those they loved. And in that moment, Jackson knew that together, they could face anything, because they had awakened not only the spirit of the forest but also the strength that lay within themselves. Akumah Audiobooks. You have reached to the end of the chapter. Click next and continue listening to Akumah Audiobooks. This story consists total of 7 chapters as such 7 videos. Refer to channel playlist for better experience and sequence.